Okay, well, my name's Martin Stevenson, and I'm in a band called the Dainties, who I'm with at the moment, and we play kind of rootsy, folky, jazzy, poppy, bluesy, like a mishmash, jack of all, master of none music, with very odd songs, quirky songs, and we've been going since 1982. So we're very honoured to be playing the Allendale Folk Festival tonight. I love village halls. I've always had a bit of a fetish for village halls. I love them. I know some people like rock and roll venues, but for me, the village hall's fantastic.
So, are you familiar with this part of the world?
I am. I was held prisoner against my will a couple of years ago. I was, obviously Wylam and Northumberland, but I'm from Washington. But I did the odd trip up here. I came up here in 1971 and with my friend's parents, and they were going through a divorce at the time. That's how I linked Alden. But it's Northumberland, it's beautiful, I live in the Highlands of Scotland now, and it's very similar. It's got a lovely vibe about it, and you still seem to have like in a village, there's things that have been lost. You still seem to have, which is lovely. The kids are out, you can speak, and there's no fear of like interacting with people and that,
There are a number of festivals that bring together some of the best of folk and traditional music. How important do you think festivals are, as opposed to just one-off gigs that you maybe organise yourself?
Hugely important, because even major festivals to small festivals, what it is it's like the Druids, it's like people just realise that no matter how much pressure and how much programming they've had to gather for creativity and art and food and music, so it's a wonderful, wonderful thing, just on a cosmic level to me, to see a group of people getting together in a field. There'll always be people taking advantage of that, but collectively it's a very beautiful thing, and I think it's an ancient practice, and it's key,
And are you familiar with some of the other artists that you're sharing the weekend with?
No, in fact I don't. I know there's a young chap on with us tonight, but I didn't get his name properly. Will Pound. Right, is he a singer-songwriter?
Harmonica player.
Oh, brilliant.
Plays the accordion.
Oh, wow.
I believe he writes his own songs.
Oh, fantastic.
So he's on first, and then you're...
Well, I'll look forward to watching him, because that's the nicest way, because we do this job so we don't really go out to watch other... So it's lovely when you get to interact with other musicians and you get a chance to hear them, so I look forward to hearing them, yeah.
There's a number of workshops happening over the weekend as well for people who are interested in, amongst other things, folk music.
Yes.
How important do you think those opportunities for people to come together with people who are also practicing musicians, and what sort of things could you learn from that experience?
It's key, if you're interested in music or the arts, is to sit with people who do it for a living, or whether they do it semi-professionally, and learn it. You're never too old or too young to learn. I mean, I'm not really a classical guitarist, but I love to sit and learn a little bit, or just for the joy of it, So folk festivals they're great things, and there's a little bit of the old world about it as well, which the imagination. I love the idea of the fiddler. The fiddlers came through so much of history. Fiddler's always been there, and it's great that young kids can still play fiddles, because a lot of them do computer games. I was watching a documentary about Japan, and some of the parents they're having to take them to boot camp because they're so addicted to being online 8 hours playing video games, and it just they're addicted to being out of society, so I think the folks, the arts, culture in the small communities, or like it's the Sage, this is like a harmonic of what's going on at the Sage. It's grassroots level. People can interact, you can walk down that place tonight and go in and get involved and watch, and it's not like a U2 concert where you see some ants on the stage, you can go in there and get involved, I think it's microcosmically fantastic.
Finally, what would you say are the main differences between folk and traditional music and mainstream, more sort of commercial music? And is that important that you're involved in what you're doing?
Well, I kind of went into the music business, but I never really liked it, you know. But to me, folk's like always teaching you about your culture, you know. This one here and that one there. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Pick that up from
Yes, it's massively important because it educates people about their culture and art and music, you know, music history. And that's in a way Lindisfarne were a good band for that, because they took your attention back to your own roots, you know. Because when I was like 15-year-old, I was listening to New York punk, you know. I was into stuff that was from somewhere else. Like me and Chris, when we were teenagers, we were listening to the Sex Pistols and Television, Patti Smith. And if you said Lindisfarne to us when we were 16, we're like, oh, you know. But as you get older, you start valuing where you're from more, you know. So folk music teaches that, you know. So it's a great. Does that make sense? Is that all right? Thank you very, very much. Huh? Yeah, I saw you watching it as well. I better watch it.
Cheers, Alex. Okay, so Will, tell me about what you do.
Well, I'm a professional musician and a professional harmonica player, which is the same thing, but weirdly. But no, I really enjoy my job. So I play in a band mainly, but I've just done my first ever solo gig here at the Allen Valleys Folk Festival. It's really quite special, really special place, and so yeah, no, it's been good fun.
So what challenges does doing a solo gig present over doing a gig with a band?
Well, you have to choose your material a lot more carefully, because obviously it's solo harmonica and solo melodeon, and then you're kind of putting them together as well sometimes. And yeah, it's really interesting actually. It's kind of challenged me a bit, because I've had to kind of think about it a lot and whatever. But no, it's been really fun. But it's challenging and kind of nerve-wracking at the same time.
I think most people who've heard harmonica will associate it with blues rather than folk.
Yeah.
Is it a different style? How would you say?
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, I tried to cross it a little bit. You know, some people, you know, think of the blues like. And then like a folk tune would maybe sound like. But then you can do kind of a bit of both, which is great. You know, it's a kind of a folk blues kind of, you know, mix, I guess, yeah.
How did you come into playing the harmonica and the melodeon?
Well, the harmonica is an interesting story. I was born with a heart defect, so I was born without a pulmonary valve, which is a bit of a bugger really, and so I had lots of breathing problems, and I'd had open heart surgery twice. But anyway, when my dad gave me a harmonica when I was 10. I was age 10, and I still had a few breathing problems, but they resolved because of the harmonica. So it was fantastic really. I kind of discovered my love for it through health reasons. So that was it, really. Yeah.
And how about playing festivals? This festival is in its first year. What are your impressions?
I actually adore it. I mean, obviously it was the first gig ever here, festival, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and very successful, packed, brilliant.
What is it about a festival that is particularly good for both musicians like yourself and also the audiences who may not be familiar with you?
It brings, for musicians, I would say, I need to go to the loo.
Yeah, just go for it.
That's all right, I'm absolutely... Great. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, the festival's thing, to be honest. I mean, I love doing them, and for an audience, I think it kind of, you know, it's a great opportunity to see bands they've never heard before, obviously, and for bands it's brilliant because it gives them a new audience. You know, they can pick up fans from festivals. I mean, my band, we've done a few festivals now, and we've picked up fans, you know, and they will contact you on Facebook or Twitter and social media. That's very powerful these days, and so but festivals at the heart are at kind of the heart of it. Like that, that's where you pick up your fans, and it's great. It's great atmosphere as well. You're basically having a party on stage. It's brilliant fun.
Okay. Yeah. And what do you think of the people of Allendale?
Well, I mean, I lived in Newcastle for 3 years, and I live in Northumberland in Newcastle and this general area. But they're just really supportive of events, and it's just been for me really special, to be honest, because as I said earlier, it's my first solo gig. So and they were great. Couldn't have asked for a better start, really.
Thank you very much indeed.
No worries.
Appreciate it. Okay, so what's your name?
Georgia Shorrock.
Okay, Georgia, and what organisation do you come from?
I'm here today with Hadrian Clog. We're a clog dancing team based all along the wall, which is where the name comes from.
Fantastic. And what is it that you're doing today?
Today I've been teaching some very basic steps to people who have never had clogs on their feet before, never tried it before, just to get a feel of how it is to have a couple of lumps of wood on your feet and trying to dance with them. And they've come on very well today. We've managed to get through quite a lot of clog dancing, which is amazing for complete beginners. And we've got some youngsters here, some children who are starting to learn the dancing as well.
Is the type of dancing that you're doing very specific to this area?
Well, there are a lot of clog steps that come from this sort of area, particularly in the northeast. But then the old county of Westmoreland had its tradition of clog dancing. The steps that I'm teaching today are actually from Lancashire. But then again, other regions like, I've just come back from Dartmoor, they have their own steps down there, the Welsh, their own clog steps as well. So there's quite a lot of it about.
Okay, and what do you think of the Allen Valley's Folk Festival? What's your experience so far?
Oh, it's fantastic, and it's lovely to have it on our doorstep as well. And there are so many people in this area interested in all sorts of things to do with folk, and as you see by the sort of turnout at the events as well. So it's lovely to have it here, and long may it last.
Perfect. Thank you very much indeed. That will do just the job. Okay, just tell me who you are and what you do, please.
I'm a Winter Scout Dog Song, and we are a folk band. Just the two of us. I play violin and sing, and Alex plays guitar and sings as well.
Yeah, just try to write warm songs, like sort of contemporary, a mixture of folk and blues. A few of the influences in there.
And how did you find the festival? You've just played your set. How did that go?
Oh, fantastic.
Really good, yeah. It was fantastic. Really nice crowd, and we're kind of we didn't really know what to expect. It was brilliant. Yeah, absolutely loved it.
What sort of things are you involved with musically at the moment? Have you got an album out, or are you recording?
Relentless album just came out in April. iTunes and all that. I'm sort of looking forward recording like second album sort of to the pipeline sort of thing.
Yeah.
Probably coming out next year.
How important do you think festivals are for continuing interest in music?
Yeah, really important.
We go to festivals and we play at festivals, and there's bands and acts to see there that you would never normally see in love, but you never actually go and see them probably. Just come across so many people and artists.
I think it's the atmosphere. Like everyone is just there for the music, like it's a music festival, and it just kind of generates that kind of interest and gets people talking about it. Yeah, I think it's really important.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's great, wonderful. Cheers.
The bass. Whoa.
Lovely.
Right.
Who are you?
Philog.
And what do you do?
I play music, I write music, and help to program this festival. Yeah.
And what is involved with programming a festival like this?
A bit of knowledge helps, passion for music helps, and enthusiasm, and a whole lot of group effort, as you know.
So you've got quite a team working with you?
Yeah.
And what sorts of things need to be done when you're organising this?
Well, we've done everything. Obviously, the centre of it is music, so you've got to book the bands, and you've got to have a good array of bands. And then everything else is a bunch of enthusiasts with different skills, from accountants to sort of people who are very good at logistics and, planning, which I'm not particularly good at, but, and get all those people together and then something happens, and generally it's collective activity that produces something great. And I think last night and so far today is kind of, we got it, haven't we? We've got a nice little thing going on.
What do you think makes
14 months work.
What do you think makes a particularly good festival as opposed to a run-of-the-mill ordinary one?
couldn't comment really. I just think that if there's enough, there's enough enthusiasm about it, but the absolute heart of it is the right array of acts. And I think we've done that this year, you know, as novices really at putting on something this big. I think we've really done that. Don't you?
This area is quite special. Tell me a little bit about the uniqueness of Allendale.
Well, Allendale and the Allen Valleys, it's a post-industrial landscape. It can be bleak, it's spectacular, quiet, you know, and like a lot of Northumberland, you can disappear and not see anybody. So if you want solitude or peace and quiet and you're interested in anything from, you know, fauna to flora to, you know, anything like that, bird life, you know, you can get out there and look at it and you can just sit by a river.
And this festival is not just about music, so what other things can people experience at the Allen Valleys Folk Festival?
A bit of storytelling, lots of dancing, buskers, pub sessions, as much variety as we can pack in. Workshops for, you know, right across the board, from clog dancing to rapid dancing to I think there's some leathercraft workshops. We've got about 12 or 13 workshops on at the minute. Yeah.
And tell me just a little bit about the venues that you're using and what's special about where we are here, for instance.
Well, these are sort of three landmark venues, I suppose. Dean Home's an old, I think, Edwardian building that, you know, was a spa hotel originally. Outdoor centre now, but it's in a lovely location, you know, self-catering and a nice ambience. Church we're in, you know, part of the community for certain. Fantastic. And then the Village Hall, which is, you know, renowned really for great local events, you know, from the Cadies through to bingo, through to the annual pantomime, and then, you know, this now is going to become an annual event.
Yeah. What are your hopes for the future of this event? This is the first, and it's doing remarkably well for being the first. Where do you see it going?
Well, I see it carrying on. I see it. Just switch it off a minute. Okay, where were we?
What's next for the Allen Valleys
Okay,
Festival?
I think we build on what we've got. We keep it small. We'll learn from a few mistakes this year, but we keep it small and manageable, compact, and as interesting and varied. So, you know, a lot of, you know, as you say, you know, good things in small packages, concentrated rather than make it massively bigger, and get some great acts from further afield, you know, and we'll work from regional and national to more national with always regional representation, and then hopefully eventually something further afield, you know, maybe worldy, you know, international stuff as well, and really draw on that folk thing that is not just English and British. That's what I'd like.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed.
Good.
Right. Okay, first of all, just for the camera, can you say who you are, please?
Yeah, my name is Michael Chapman. It's hanging in. I'm tired, but I've just had real good fun. Had a lovely gig in the church.
Sorry to lie. I'll be quiet. Sorry, it's okay. See you around.
See you down there.
Nice to see you again. Yeah. Take it easy. Thanks, guys. Okay, so
right.
Michael, could you just describe the sort of music that you do, please?
Oh no, it's impossible. I don't know what I am. As long as they don't call me a folk singer, I don't.
Influences.
Oh, Django Reinhardt, Big Bill Broonzy, Jimmy Smith, jazz organists, John Coltrane. That's why I find it difficult to describe what I do. I come out of jazz and blues, not out of folk music. I've never known anything about folk music at all. I mean, I started playing in folk clubs because it was the only place you could play acoustic guitar, because it was the only place they'd be quiet. We didn't have today's, you know, sound techniques to amplify acoustic guitars, and a lot of the folk clubs didn't even have a microphone. So I used to just buy the loudest guitars I possibly could.
What started you off in music?
A couple of friends of mine went to art college, and when they came back to the school speech day, they had two really pretty girls with them, and they had guitars, so I thought that's the way to go. And if you ask any guitar player, doesn't matter who it is, that's why we all start.
Festivals like this are becoming increasingly important. What's the value of something like this, do you think?
Socially or musically?
Either, culturally or whatever.
Well, I think it's great that, you know, a place like Allendale, which has a long tradition of music. I used to play the King's Head years ago, you know. There's been a long tradition of people playing live here, which is great. You know, I'd rather see the worst live band in the world than go to a discotheque, you know. And for me, I kind of use festivals as a chance to catch up with my friends, because we're all on the road. We're all bypassing each other. You know, you leave little messages scrolled on dressing room walls. Hello, I was here, you know. And so I get to see other musicians play, because I live just outside Hawkwhistle, which is not Music City, you know. I just come back from Nashville, and that's not either. They don't play music in Nashville, they just make... I'm not going to start.
So live music's very important to you?
I love it, yeah. I love being out on the road and playing live. It's great. It's an ego trip, you know. I mean, you can't do this job unless you're conceited. You just can't. You know, you got to walk on and think, well, I'm here, look at this, watch this go. You know.
Thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure.
Wonderful.
Right, that was painless.
Okay, so what is your name?
My name's Johnny Flynn.
What do you do?
I play, I write songs, I sing songs, play different instruments. I just played solo, so I played just with me and my guitar in the village hall.
And how did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was wicked. Really nice atmosphere, and yeah, it's really special to kind of go into a community and feel like that connection between everyone. Yeah, this is like the kind of place I grew up, so it's really special. My sister lives up the road, so.
Right. You mentioned in your set that you have always sort of dreamed of touring village halls. What is it about this type of community experience that you love?
I grew up in villages where, like, you know, where everyone knows your name, and there's this kind of like everyone's got a vested interest in everyone, and I think that's quite special in, you know, at this point in history, where, you know, the problems we have in wider society because of the sort of dissociation people feel from communities. So I think this is really special and a really important thing to do. This, you know, kind of coming together when you live in a place and then organising things like this. It's the best thing you can do, really. I don't know. It's a celebration, isn't it? It's good.
And just finally, how did you get into music, and what would you say for those who are thinking about taking up an instrument or having a first go?
Well, like learning instruments for me has been like learning languages that you can then speak with people, but it's slightly more fun than talking. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a kind of secret world that, you know, if you pick up an instrument, whatever level you're at, there are people you can play with, and there's like really sort of deep joy to be had in playing, learning songs or any kind of music. But for me, folk music in particular is this kind of thing of passing things around and meeting people and talking about songs and going to sessions and hearing new things that people are adding to your community of friends, and so it's a really special way of interacting with people, and you know, it's the best. I think it's the best fun you can have, really. Yeah. Cool.
Just the job. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so if you could start off by just telling me who you are and what your position is within this festival.
I'm Peter Aldcroft. I'm chairman of the Allen Valleys Folk Festival Committee.
Okay, so this has been a complex process. Tell me a little bit about what's involved in organising a festival like this.
I think the most difficult thing to sort out is the workforce, because when you plan a festival, you've no idea who's going to get on board, and it takes a while for the number of volunteers to become evident, particularly those who are willing to work at the pace required for a successful festival. So I think that's been the big learning curve. I mean, we eventually ended up with a steering group of about a dozen people and 40 volunteers, which is really tremendous. But of course, 12 months ago, we couldn't have predicted that.
Has anything of this scale ever happened in the community?
I think this is probably the biggest community event there's been, in the sense of an event involving people from outside the immediate area. There are lots of big local events, but I think the catchment area for this one, judging by the audiences, has been very large.
Why did you choose to do this?
I just wanted to do it. I think it was probably April 2013, I heard that there might be some funding available to run a folk festival, and it was the sort of thing I thought I could do. So I started making noises in about April 2013. In September we had our first meeting, and we've been meeting every month since then, every fortnight for the last month or so, and here we are.
What expertise do you bring to the organisation of something like this?
I would say marketing and communication are my two skills, particularly marketing, which has been my professional background for the last, 40 years or so. But it's an opportunity to bring that expertise to bear in a local market for a local event. That's been the great thing.
Why is marketing so important for this sort of thing?
I think it's important, first of all, to get the product right, and of course the product has been a result of collaboration between 2 or 3 people on the steering group, namely Phil Ogg, Glyn Galley and myself, and between us we've come together with a list of names that I think is a very attractive offer to folk followers. So once you have the product, so the product is the music, once you have that, you've got to spread it to as many people as possible, preferably those who already have an interest in folk, because they're obviously easier to sell tickets to, but more importantly people who might have an interest in folk if you could get them along to the first festival. So I think the audience for the festival so far has been a mixture of those two things: folk followers, but people who are coming along just because it's local, so they get a flavour of folk, and hopefully that will increase their interest in folk over the next 3 years.
This is the first year of the festival. How has the response been?
I think the response has been incredible. We couldn't have predicted the success of the event in terms of numbers, in terms of the types of people when we set off. We expected to get audiences, but we didn't expect to get sellouts, which we've had so far. So that's just the numbers element of it. I mean, we have sold full capacity at every event, but more importantly it's the verbatim feedback we're getting from people to say how much they enjoyed it. I was talking to a guy this morning outside the Golden Lion who's a folk follower, and he said that this festival had exceeded his expectations, not just the main bits of it, but the bits around the edges, the workshops, and he went to a bell ringing workshop. Now, very few festivals offer bell ringing workshops. We had a dulcimer workshop, we had a leathercrafts workshop. There's been a great breadth of things for people to get involved with.
So what would you say are the lasting benefits of this festival?
Hopefully more business generated within the community in terms of the catering establishments, the accommodation establishments, and also more interest in music generally, which means that we'll probably be able to put on more gigs throughout the year, so that folk becomes more of a continuous thing rather than just a one-off every 12 months.
Anything else you want to add that we haven't covered? Can't think of anything.
Don't think so.
Okay. Fine, that'll be fine then.
Good. Thank you.
We can always, if need. Okay, so if you could just tell me what you do and who you are, please, first.
Okay, we are Nomads. I'm Cliff Blakey, and this is Miguel. And together we sort of play flamenco world fusion. So we mix jazz, Latin, almost folk elements sometimes as well, in with flamenco rhythms. So most of the time we try and stay with flamenco rhythms, although occasionally we'll go outside of it. We like sort of Latin, sort of South American type stuff as well, so that gets included. So the underlying basis of it all is flamenco though.
Have you played in this region before?
Yeah, I mean we've done Vamos Festival up in Newcastle, and we've played various sort of gigs with the Newcastle Flamenco Cooperative over the years, and we played Clennell Folk Festival this year as well, which was quite good to do. And also I play with Lush Acoustic, which is up in Northumberland quite a lot. So
What do you think of this festival?
I think it's great. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's great venues as well. You know, it's quite strange for us to be out during the day. Most of it happens at night, you know, with flamenco. So it's quite new for us to be playing during the day, but we're up for it.
How important do you think festivals are in bringing interesting and different music to an audience that might not normally?
I think it's really important, because it's like you may go and see one band and not know about the other band, and see them for the first time, and you go, wow, you know, they were good, and then that sort of spreads the word about what you like, etc. It's really good, really very important, I think.
Lovely, thank you very much indeed. Sorry. Okay, so first of all, can you just tell me who you are and what you're from?
My name's Chris Meredith, and I'm from Watchtown. We're sort of a Scottish group, although Mercedes isn't Scottish. A lot of the compositions are my own, and Graham's from the Borders, and I best describe us as progressive folk. I think that's the best way to describe it.
And what are your impressions of the gig that you've just done? Have you had a good time?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, we've done a few festivals this year, and it's been great to come and round it up here. This is our last festival of the year, and it's just such a great buzz around this place as well. Everyone, you can kind of hear it now. There's just an energy at this festival which is just second to none. And I hear that because it's their first festival as well. It just excites me to think what could happen in the future as well. You know, delighted with it.
And tell me a little bit about what your plans are musically for the next few months.
Well, we're looking to maybe go into the studio and try and put an album together. We've not been going together long, with less than a year, I would say, so we're quite excited about getting stuck into the CD and then writing some more music, you know. Thank you very much.
Okay, so
I haven't done my hair or anything.
That's fine, so just tell me who you are, please.
I'm Rory McLeod.
And Rory, what do you do?
I was singing yesterday. I was singing songs that I made up. Got tap shoes, guitar, some percussion, and a lot of stories. They're story songs really, so they're quite rhythmic. So I think them as dance stories you get danced to. So I was playing a couple of hours yesterday afternoon.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I did, yeah. It was nice to play again. I played for a wee while. That was good. Lots of kids running around and sword fighting.
What's good about a festival as opposed to a solo one-off gig?
Well, at a festival you get to meet other musicians. You can almost go crossing a few different borders at the same time, because there might be music from Spain, or there might be down up the road, or Scotland, or on this side of the border, and there's more opportunity to join in sessions and meet other people, which you wouldn't get at just at a folk club. But at a festival you meet all kinds of people, and the people are gathered especially to hear the music, which is great, because people love music, you know, and so attracted to it. A gathering, it's a kind of gathering of people really, isn't it? Some play, some good listeners, and some listen and play, and some play and listen, so it's a good mix.
This is the first year of the Allen Valley's Folk Festival. What have been your impressions of it?
Well, I've never been here before, in Allen Valley anyway. I think I passed through kind of to play at a village hall a few years ago. First impression. Well, I like being in a valley. I like valleys because that's where water meets and flows through. So there's a river, isn't it? The Allen River. And so I haven't had a proper look around, to be honest. So of course, if I was here when there was no festival, then I'd maybe going out a bit more, and rather than focus on the music, I'd be looking at what's around. But I enjoyed the. There's a little photo exhibition down the road here. All the portraits of people. That was nice. See all these faces, intimate faces. People live around here. That was nice to catch. Seemed friendly. I see you won the Calagas award in 2007, so I guess you've got a lot of gas cooking going on.
Okay, and finally, if you were just to sum up the importance of attending live music events, what would you say is important about live music?
I think listening to music together with other people, it's a collective thing, I suppose. Like that's maybe why people used to go to church, to hear and join together as a community. Get together and come out, and so I think enjoying and laughing together, because obviously there's some humour that goes on, there's dancing, it's very social. I think music can be a social thing, not just to an inward-looking thing where people, you know, meditate on, maybe in some baroque things like that. Classical music might be for that. I wouldn't like to label anything. So I think people listening together is, you know, coming together and having a blether over a pint, and then having a dance together, and just turning around and saying hello, and where are you from, where have you come from, you know, that kind of thing is nice. You know, it's a good thing to do.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so you've been to the gig this afternoon. What were your impressions of what we're doing in Allendale today?
I'm really enjoying it. It was really good. Music is fantastic. It was really nice and relaxing afternoon, and I'm looking forward to the next gig.
That's just the job. Thank you very much. In your own time. So what have you enjoyed about this weekend so far?
We love that it's so close by because we're actually both from Allendale, so it's perfect for us actually. We came to the Monster Cayley band last night, which was really good fun.
It's just nice having like all the folky bands from around the area come together for once, instead of like seeing them at separate gigs at separate times of the year, and yeah, it's been really nice.
Okay, and are you looking forward to this happening again in the future?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
We'll definitely come back. So.
Is this the first time that it has been?
It is.
Yeah.
Very first one. Yeah. What do you think of the quality of it for the first time it's happened?
It's brilliant actually. Yeah.
It's amazing what good bands they've got to come as well. It's not just like a little low key.
Yeah, there's a lot of people and good venues all spread across different places, which is really nice. I think.
Wonderful. Okay, so tell me your name.
My name's Glyn Galley.
Okay, Glyn, and what have you been doing this weekend?
I've been watching all the acts that we booked on the for the festival, working behind the bar, and emceeing a concert as well. It's been a cracking weekend, I think.
And in terms of what your expectations were, is this much better than you thought it would be?
In certain respects, it's far, far better than I could have possibly dreamed. In the crowds that's turned up in particular has been astonishing. The quality of some of the acts has been also astonishing, and one in particular, I've very seldom used this word, but I will this time, is they were awesome, and that was the Monsters. However, there's others that are really standing out. Sunday afternoon with the Watchtones was an incredible experience, and we certainly want them back and a lot further up the bill.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed. I'll start off by, what's your name?
My name's Ian Brown, Ian K. Brown if you want to find me on Facebook. I'm a musician, I'm a performer, but I run ukulele workshops, and I've done them all over the country this summer at festivals. We had a wonderful time at Allendale, we seriously did. We worked with total beginners, and we just got on with it. And then when we finished, we walked out into the marketplace. There was nobody there because it was a Sunday morning. They were all in church. Then I saw one of the landlords of the local pub. He said, "Come and play in my pub." So we all went into the local pub. We found Bridie Jackson and the Arbor, who were one of the bands playing at the Allendale Festival. And then we went in, and they joined in with our ukulele workshop performance. We had a good time, really good time.
And generally speaking, what are your impressions of the festival as a whole this weekend?
I think, as a festival, for the first time, there are things that can be improved on, yeah. That's natural. I think it's been an amazing festival for the first time. Been really lucky with the weather. There's been some really good bands, and the venues have been great. I think it could go a long way, and I think it could become one of the places, as Allendale has always been, a music centre for the whole country.
Thank you.
I think it's going a long way.
Okay, if you're going to sum up this weekend's festival in 3 words, what would they be?
Varied, quality. I don't know what a third one would be. Warm. Yeah. No, it was great. A mix of acts, a mix of people in the crowds. I mean, all ages. I really enjoyed it. And you had lots of different styles of music: the flamenco, the jazz, the Monster Cayley stuff, Bridie at the end. It was all brilliant. Yeah, I was really surprised in a good way.
Thank you very much. So, have you enjoyed this weekend? What have you been to see?
I've only been to see this last because I've been on the organising committee. I've been on duty most of the weekend. Yeah. But
well, and I've only been to this afternoon actually.
Yeah.
And this afternoon was great because there was such variety of styles of music.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that. Yeah, it's very good.
And from the organisers' point of view, have things gone to plan?
More or less, yes. One or two hitches, one or two things. We'll make more interesting mistakes next year.
And if you were to sum up this weekend in 2 or 3 words, what would they be?
I'd say it's a success from the organiser point of view.
And from the audience's point of view, do you think?
Certainly, I think yes. I didn't go to anything yesterday, so I can only speak about this afternoon. But the audience will be really enjoying this afternoon.
Okay, so tell me who you are.
I'm Andy Lees. I work for the North Pennines AOND partnership.
And what involvement have you had with this festival?
Well, partly we're sponsors. We've secured the funding from the Heritage Lottery Fund for a larger scheme. Can I start that again?
Yeah.
We secured funding from the Heritage Lottery Fund for a larger scheme all over the Allen Valleys, and the Folk Festival is part of that, but it's been a fantastic project to be involved in. And the joy of the project really has been the coming together of the committee. Over 18 months it's been an awful lot of hard work, and it's been fantastic working with everyone.
And what's the response been like from your point of view?
The response so far has been amazing. All the artists that we've heard from have said there's been an amazing atmosphere, amazing vibe. The response from the paying public has been great as well. I haven't been through the feedback forms yet, looking forward to doing that tomorrow, but so far it's been absolutely wonderful. We're all bowled over because it's our first festival, and now we have another one to do. We hope to live up to our reputation.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Talk to me rather than camera. So, who are you?
We are Bridie Jackson and the Arvo. That's Bridie Jackson, by the way. And we're the Arvo.
So you just played the Allen Valleys Folk Festival. You just headlined the Allen Valleys Folk Festival. In fact.
Yeah.
Tell me what you thought of your gig this afternoon.
Well, it's the first time we've ever had a standing ovation, which was really exciting.
Yeah, it was a really brilliant crowd. It was amazing. They were really good at listening, and
Joining
the
in.
venue was really great. Yep, joining in too.
Harmonious singing. It was beautiful.
You've played some big festivals, Glastonbury being possibly the biggest.
The biggest, yeah. The sea.
What's important about a festival rather than a one-off gig, do you think?
It was a completely different experience playing a festival. I think it's completely different for performers, but I think also audiences tend to come to festivals not just, they're in a different mindset at festivals, kind of they're more immersed in it because they're listening to music all day long.
They're probably more open to different things because they're expecting to hear, bands they don't necessarily know.
To get people who haven't heard you before, and that's always exciting if they do like you.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this area?
Yeah, we are. It's lovely. It's beautiful.
Played London before.
Cinderhope. Yeah. Just up the
Which was
road.
lovely. Again, tiny.
Yeah.
Tiny place, but beautiful.
And what are your impressions of this particular festival? Because it's the first year.
Yeah.
Tell me what you thought.
So impressed.
great.
Yeah. I just think they've got it so right. Like people have been talking about this festival excitedly for months, music fans, and
I think the lineup's great as well. It's varied without being too varied, and it's got a really good mix.
You wouldn't at all think it was the first festival. It's just gone so smoothly.
Okay. And finally, the importance of live music. A lot of people may not go out much to see live music, and maybe a festival is a good way of getting them to do that. What's the importance of going to see live music?
It's just a completely different experience to listening to recorded music, and it's much more organic and much more intimate.
You get bands that respond to the audience as well, so they play differently and they sort of perform differently, and the chat that you get in between songs and things that you don't get if you just stick a CD on. And,
I think there's so much you can do in the studio now as well that you never quite know what you're listening to, whether you're listening to the band's own skill or whether it's the producer being amazing. So I think you get that rawness when you're playing live, and you get to see all the little human errors and that kind of thing, and that's what I really enjoy watching, just really feeling the sense of the musician.
Thank you very much. That'll be perfect.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.